For my business, I've entered into a very male-dominated industry. It was challenging for me because it was not an area that I found great reception. An audience, when it comes to entrepreneurship, is very important because they have to assess me as a leader, assess me as a person who would be trustable, a person that they will want to deal in business with. So establishing that level of trust and credibility was hard, and also the fact that the reception to a woman in a male-dominated industry is a cultural barrier that I had to face. These were two quite challenging aspects that I personally had to endure. But I overcame it because I decided to embrace my challenges. I think it's also important that to establish the ability to encourage trust and to engender that trust, it's important to show that you have done work. Work meaning that you have done your research, you have studied the data, and you know what you're talking about. I think one of the things that, even in terms of policy making, you have to show that the numbers that you have make sense, that they are credible, and they are derived from proven sources. So I had to study. Practically every weekend I had to do self-study. There was no course that would help me to be able to establish me an entry into a male-dominated field. I had to do my own research. I worked hard at it. I studied online resources, I went to the library, and there needs to be dedication and time set aside for such research. One of the biggest problems for women is access to credit. Personally, I had the benefit of knowing a circle of investors, but I do understand from other women colleagues that for them it's very hard to gain access to credit and finance. And that's a very important part because that is a fundamental and the lifeblood of any business is to be able to get finance, to be able to secure a good cash flow, to smoothen out the edges. For example, I just like to give, it might be a bit specific, but it would be for government-backed funding, for example. They could work with financing institutions. Right now, these are very gender neutral. So you would have a package that is backed by a government fund, that is assessed by SMEs or companies in certain industries. But right now, I think in order to encourage more women, it could be a separate parallel track where you could encourage a financing that would allow women to have better or easier access, which is also government-backed, which means that financing institutions can feel more at ease, or their fears will be assuaged if they were to extend credit to women.